loves, I'm Rosa, welcome. So I have been meaning to actually record this for the longest time. We have a book haul today. The thing is, I prefer for these to be like 20 books, 25 max, but I've not had the time to kind of like show off the books that I've gotten throughout the past many months. So it's kind of accumulated a little bit. I'm sitting on 48 books, but I like going through them with you guys as I've done the past couple of years, if not a bit more than that. It feels weird to not do it. So despite having way too many books for one video, we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna go through all, possibly I think 48 of them. Whoops. These have been, just a little side note, disclaimer, whatever you want to call it. I've gotten these since these are new books that I've gotten since like July, I think, maybe late June. So they're from several months. I've not bought these all at once. I also read my books. I don't read my special editions, these editions, but I do read them on Kindle or as paperback editions. It's funny because the last time I did a haul, this wasn't so talked about on social media. Hauls were pretty normal back then, but there's been like a little bit of like, times are changing a little bit. I don't really spend a whole lot of money on other stuff than books. My mom has brought back books from Norway as well. I've brought back books from Norway. Basically what I purchase is books and then drawing materials. And that's pretty much it. So this is like my self-indulgence, if you will. Building a library that I can have for many years. And again, by no means are they bought all at once. I don't have the funds for that. Just thought I'd, set that straight. But also I wish it was easier to thrift books where I am, because I do like buying used books. However, it's not, because I'm in Denmark and I mainly read in English, so you kind of have to buy new ones. With that said, we're gonna go through these stack by stack, because there's a couple on the table as well. I couldn't have all of them on the couch with me, so kind of had to figure out some other way to sort it. I have several special editions, some that are from a little bit further back, and then some that I actually just opened yesterday. You will see those behind those two stacks. So we're gonna go through all of them. I will let you guys know where they're from, if they're special editions. We're not gonna go through the customizations today, like I usually do, because we will not have time. And let's get started, because this video will be long. Very long. Okay, actually starting with one of the best books that I've read this year. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I was lucky enough to get this as an ARC as well. I loved every bit of it. We are following 3 women. It's kind of like a dual timeline book, so it's not kind of like, it is. So we follow 3 women and it takes place in 2 different timelines. They are, or may not be, vampires, by the way. So this book is basically about like showing how becoming something like a vampire can affect people in one way or another, but also seeing how they evolve throughout the years. And it's just, it's beautiful, it's harrowing, it's beautifully written as well. V.E. Schwab is such a gorgeous writer. I enjoyed every second of it. I thought it was so stunning. So, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I don't know who to recommend this to, but this is not what this book or this video is about either. So this is the Fairy Loot edition. It was from like July, I think, something. I always have these. It was from June. That's a while back by now. And I'm so happy that I have this. I think it's stunning, gorgeous, love the color combination. We have Rosa in Chains by Julie Soto. As far as I know, this is a Hermione fanfic, but turned into a traditionally published book. This is also a Fairy Loot edition. This is fantasy. So is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, by the way. I like having these because they always have like a short summary on them, and that's better than what I can come up with. So it says, after a brutal war, a defeated princess is taken prisoner by those who seek to control her. Stripped of power and far from home, she must learn to survive in a world built to break her. But even in the darkest places, sparks of hope and rebellion begin to rise. I've heard that this is a lovely book. I have read 2 books by Julie Soto and I've thoroughly enjoyed both of them. So I'm excited to delve into a fantasy take on her writing, as the other two that I've read have been contemporary romances. We got a little fucks on the back, by the way. It's so cute. Stunning flowers, beautiful, beautiful copy. But yes, Julie Soto doing fantasy. Very excited. Another Fairy Loot edition. I think this one is from a while back as well. August? That's not a while back. Well, yeah, it is. It's almost November as I'm recording this. I'm recording this on Halloween, so yay. Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. I'm actually not fully certain what this book is about. Love the color combination on this one. Green and orange. Beautiful. At a hidden academy on the edge of the afterlife, 6 students enter a high-stakes competition with deadly ambition, tangled relationships, and secret motives. Motives, not motifs. I know the difference. At play, the cost of winning may be worse than losing. Sounds a little bit like... Could there be some dark academia vibes to this? I mean, it's a little bit gothic, right? I feel like there might be something to it. I've heard this was lovely, by the way, before I got it, so hoping that it'll live up to the expectations. I always try to make sure to look into the picks that Fairy Loot does before getting them, so that so that I'm sure they line up with my personal preferences when it comes to reading. And then I'll skip them if they don't, as I have been known to do. We have Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmerer, which is, I'm so hyped for this book. It's a beautiful Fairy Loot edition, fully redesigned cover, very, very cute, very blue, very frosty, like super, super frosty. Compared to the original cover, which I think wasn't really very, like, I don't know, it's not giving a whole lot, is it? I can't turn the book because it'll fall in my face, but as far as I know, this is a 3-0. A 3-0? That's not what it's called. You know what I mean. An MMF. They are a throuple, that's what I meant to say, but I don't know. I don't know how I'm a 3-0. Yeah, language. Crowned by the stars, a king and a princess enter a fragile political alliance, each hiding secrets that could tear it apart. An assassin is sent to kill them, but when one of his targets is the woman he loves, his mission becomes a choice between duty and desire. So this is her first, like, take on an adult romantasy as well, and I'm nervous to see where it goes. I haven't read a whole lot by Bridget Kemmerer. I have read Defy the Night and Defend the Dawn. I didn't finish that, so I haven't read Destroy the Day, just because I didn't really like Defend the Dawn so much. Loved Defy the Night. So we'll see about this when I get to it at some point, but I do love a throuple. I think they're kind of fun sometimes, so I'm hoping this will be a little bit of my alley as well. Romantasy is very much my thing these days. But I'm also very interested to see how Bridget Kemmerer is going to move into adult writing. There's been a lot of these YA writers that have, like, dabbled a little bit in adult books, and I don't know, it's kind of interesting, very exciting. So next up we have A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. They spelled it in 2 different ways, which is kind of awkward. Brittany, and this is Brittany. Well, that's awkward, Fairy Loot. Anyway. But yes, this is, as far as I remember, just a color variation of the cover. It says exclusive redesigned. I feel like the original cover looks a lot like it, but that might just be me. Anyway, so we have falsely imprisoned for murder, a former court dancer strikes a dangerous bargain for her freedom, uncovering deadly secrets and facing impossible choices along the way. Very abstract, very non-specific, maybe a little bit too non-specific. But we do have gorgeous, if this gives you any indication of what the book is about. Gorgeous, gorgeous end papers where she's dancing with wings. I think this is a fantasy with romance, and I don't know, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see where it goes. People seem pretty excited for it when... Is that damaged on the bottom? No. When they announced it, I heard some, or I read, I should probably say, some lovely things about the book, so I'm hoping that it'll live up to those claims as well, but we'll see. Arcana Academy by Elise Kova, which is a romantasy. I have read a couple books by her and thought they were great, so I was super excited to see that Fairyloot was doing an edition of her first book in a new series. And it's an academy book. It's a school book. It's not a school book. That's not what I meant to say. But it takes place in a school. It's not a school book. We do read those these days as well. Although there's no romance in them. I'm like struggling getting through those. Dang. Anyway, faced with a prison sentence, a cunning thief must infiltrate a magical elite academy, conceal her identity, and outwit a prince she's vowed to despise. So I am excited. It looks like the magic is like card based as well. There's a lot of like cards on the cover, so I'm interested in that. I read One Dark Window just like every other person in the booktube community did when that came out a while ago. Loved it to bits. So anything like card based magic, I'm like I'm interested in that. I want to know more. Tell me more. So we'll see about it. And also school books. Not school books. Stop saying that. Books that take place at schools are pretty cool these days. I like those as well. An academy story. Should we call it that? No, that doesn't sound right either. What do you want to call that? Because it's not always dark academia. I don't know. Let me know if you have a term for it. That's a little bit better. Okay, so we also have the last one in this stack, which was just 7 books. My gosh. We have The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley, which I have actually read. This was pitched as a Hermione fanfic, but the author herself has gone out there and said that it's not. And so I don't know. I'm gonna take her word for it, but like I don't really know. It is a healer story, so we have 2 people on opposing sides of a feud, a war. Not really a war, but they're like unfriendly clans, if you want to call them that. And she's a healer type, he's a bit more of an assassin type, but he is cursed with something where he's got like a sickness and he needs her help, and so there's a whole lot of back and forth. They're actually enemies. Do they try to kill each other? I don't really remember, but she's very hesitant to help him. So I guess it depends a little bit on what your like criteria for proper enemies are, but they're supposed to be from 2 opposing, not clans, but it's called something else. You know what I mean though. It's very cute. I liked it a lot. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Little bit, like, some of the humor was a little bit too in your face. I feel like sometimes when characters try to deliver, or the author tries to make the characters deliver lines that are supposed to be funny, it gets a little bit too much, like a little bit on the nose. But I thought it was you know, entertaining regardless. And so that one, by the way, is the only one from Loot Crate out of that stack. I do have one more. So I'll go put these up on the table and come back with another stack and we'll continue. But also, can we just appreciate that it's pink? I love the pink. Yes. There's a truck outside and I'm really hoping that it's gonna stay quiet, but like I don't know. So I guess we'll see. We have Never Ever After by Sue Lynn Tan. These are not all Fairyloot edition. This one is though. It's a YA romantasy, I think I want to call it, but might just be fantasy with romance. There is a distinction, but I don't know yet because I've not read the book. I think I have an arc of it actually. I love Sue Lynn Tan's Celestial Kingdoms. Love that duology. So I've been like eyeing all the other books that she's been releasing very much. It says, inspired by Cinderella and Chinese folklore, this fantasy follows a clever thief who enters a treasurer's royal court to reclaim a stolen enchanted ring, only to find herself caught in a deadly power struggle that could reshape the kingdom. I like the Cinderella with Chinese mythology. I think that's, or Chinese folklore. I think that's a little bit interesting. So also gorgeous cover, stunning, beautiful. The colors are like, yes. Then we have Alchemized by Sin Min Yu, which traditionally published fanfic, and I have read the fanfic. I loved it so much, and I'm very excited that Fairyloot did an edition of this book. I still want the regular paperback with it, so I can read that. So it's gonna be a little while before I can get that. because I want to tab it and stuff, and I don't want to do that with these edges. And the paperback that's available at the moment is has beautiful edges as well. So gotta wait a little bit for that one. Books that are more than 550 pages, I'm like, I cannot read them on Kindle. I cannot. And I mean, I've done it. I did it with the original fanfic, but I can't. And so I can. I don't want to. So I'm gonna patiently wait for the regular, normal, small-sized paperback to be released without edges so that I can reread this and see how it differs from the fanfic that I initially read, or that I originally read. I feel like this is like slightly damaged, but I'm gonna do my best to ignore it. I don't know what's happened up here, but something looks weird. I'm gonna just not, I choose not to see. But, oh gosh, I don't know how to explain it. Where's my card? Oh no. I think the card for this book might be... No, it's in the back. Good, because I was about to panic. In a world ruled by necromancers, a former alchemist has lost all memory of the Resistance final days. Her missing past may hold the key to secrets that could change everything, and uncovering the truth is the only way to survive. But like, she can't remember, and it's very hard to get her to remember. And it's so harrowing. This is like dark fantasy with romance, but it's like very dark. It'll make you feel miserable, so if you want to read one of those books that'll really like make you feel really miserable, but it's like good, readers, you know what I mean. That one is doing a decent job at that, but like also be warned, because it's like there's a lot of dark stuff. I don't know, did she write a content warning at the start of it? Please see the back of the book for content notes. I would probably look those up if you are looking into getting this book, just because there's a lot going on in it. So, then we have Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider, which actually is a book that came out in 2024, but was published traditionally here in 2025. It's a romantasy series. I'm pretty sure there's... Actually, no, I'm not pretty sure of anything. Are the sequels out? I can't remember. I read 24% of it. Very proud of myself. But having gone to the rest, it was just so up my alley, and I was like, I'm gonna stop myself now because otherwise I'll binge it. I wasn't supposed to, and then I just never picked it up again because I got distracted by some other book. I have issues sometimes. It's fine. But I have decided to start it over at some point. Not right now, at some point. I will. So, it says, a young guard's encounter with an enemy soldier shatters a fragile peace. As rebellion brews and loyalties are tested, she must choose between her duty and a connection that defies everything she's ever known. We got magic in this. I think there's a little bit of like, there's like a crew on a ship as well at some point. By the time that, at the bit that I read, they've like slightly or are in the process or have already gathered a crew and they're gonna go off on a ship and something like that. So I don't think that's a spoiler. Also because like you can literally tell from these end pages that there's a crew and a ship. But I remember that, so if you like stuff like that, maybe consider going into it. Romantasy again, which we do love. We also love purple books. I'm very happy that I got a couple more of those. Hello. I hit my couch. Anyway. Next up we have Thorn Season by Kira Azar, who's apparently been in Shadow and Bone. Which I did not know. Kind of cool. This is YA fantasy with romance, as far as I'm aware. And again, these are all fairy loot editions. We have, or it says, in a kingdom where those who wield secret and deadly magic risk execution, Alyssa must conceal her powers to survive. Amidst a court of hidden agendas and dangerous allies, she must become sharper than the thorns that surround her. Does she have thorn magic? That's pretty cool. I don't know, I feel like she might. Something about the roses and stuff. I feel like she might have something to do with it. Like her magic is thorns related. I don't really know. I guess we'll see. How would I know? It's just all the flowers in these pictures. Does sound a lot like YA romantasy, but like I'm not gonna label it because I've not read it. We are excited to at some point though. Then we have, oh, I'm so excited for this as well, Alchemy of Secrets. I just wanted to make sure that I don't know, I feel like for a second I was scared that I swapped around the words. Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. This is also her first attempt. I don't want to call it an attempt, but like, I'm Danish, for lack of a better word. Or her first jump into adult books. No, that's not, you know what I mean. Okay, thank you. This is historical fiction as far as, but like contemporary historical fiction, fantasy, mystery. So as far as I remember, at least from reading a list of genres, there's a little bit of historical fiction in there. So I don't know if they're time traveling, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Definitely a mystery, though. With romance as well. Fantasy, mystery, romance. Maybe a little bit of historical fiction. Doomed to die at midnight, Holland must find the legendary alchemical heart hidden in a magical world beneath Los Angeles. Now I have to look it up because I'm annoyed with myself. Fantasy, romance, dark academia. Alright, there is a school, but I don't know about that. Mystery, and yeah, some historical fiction aspect to it, in whichever shape it takes, I'm not really sure. But she must find the alchemical heart hidden in a magical world beneath Los Angeles. With danger and deception at every turn, she has only hours to uncover the truth and survive. A race against a clock. But a mystery on top of that. Sounds stressful. Super excited though. I'm so curious to see how, like, both her but also Bridget Kemmerer, how are they gonna tackle the change into adult, both language-wise but also like content-wise. I don't know, I'm very curious. Another Limerick book, actually, Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon, which is I want to call it a novella, but how many pages is it? It's 250, so I don't think you can call it a novella, but it's so thin compared to her other A Day of Fallen Night and The Priory of the Orange Tree that this feels like a novella, but I'm like, it's 250 pages. Does that constitute a novella? I don't think so. This, I believe, takes place after A Day of Fallen Night and before The Priory of the Orange Tree. So is it gonna tie those two stories together? I don't know. I have not read A Day of Fallen Night yet. Loved The Priory of the Orange Tree. I thought it was perfection up until the last like 30 pages. Still enjoyed the last 30 pages. They just weren't as good as the first 770 or however many it is. It's a lot of pages. So I'm excited to see, like, I think I want to read A Day of Fallen Night before I go into this one, which is fine because I also want to wait until I have a paperback or have it on Kindle actually. So we'll see, but I had to get this so that it matches the other two editions that I have. So now I have the set. Very exciting, but can't really tell you what it's about because it's part of a series. Thing like dragons, high fantasy, my upstairs neighbor is being noisy. And that was the last special editions, so let's get into some not special editions. Which of the stacks is she gonna go with? I don't know. So I have a few more fantasy hardbacks actually, not special editions though, but we do have a first edition Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry, which is romantasy. I thought it was so stunning. I have this downloaded on my Kindle, so I'll be reading it on my iPad, but it was so pretty. So pretty with the edges. They're like, it's like wood and flowers. It's very, very gorgeous. I have read a few of Daphne Perry's contemporary romances. I think one of them had like a little bit of like a flair of mystery to it. It was Indigo Ridge. I read that one. I feel like it had some... There was a little... Am I misremembering? It's the problem when you read a lot of books, and this is like a while ago as well. I think it has a mystery to it. The other being Crossroads, which is definitely more it's contemporary romance. And so I'm excited to see where she's taking romantasy for a change. I think this is Enemies to Lovers romantasy. On the back it says a treaty sealed in magic, a fate born of monsters, a love foretold by legend. But I don't remember the rest of the story. I think we have to do with the princes and then the whole like treaty and stuff. Everything's not really going to plan. Something she has to like deal with one of her worst enemies and stuff. So very classic romantasy, but I'm super excited to see if I like the book or not because it seems very, very well loved. We have, oh gosh, Yes, hold on, because these titles are a mouthful. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sango Mandana. She also wrote The Secret Society of Irregular where are you? I need the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. There you go. Okay. They're so long, okay? They're so long, those titles. Yeah. And so, which I loved. It's like cozy fantasy with romance. The romance is not necessarily like the biggest part of the book, but it does take up a fair amount of it. And but like I feel like more so in that book, the relationship between her and the kids was more important. I'm not saying that the romance bit wasn't. I just feel like there were other bits to that book as well that were very important. So, but like cozy fantasy with romance. And so I was excited when I saw that she was releasing another one because I really, really enjoyed it. So we'll see if I like this one. I think it came out in July-ish. I haven't read it yet, but definitely will at some point. Maybe around springtime. It looks a little bit like a spring book, does it not? Like the other one is definitely fall. It also takes place leading up to Halloween, but I think this one is a little bit more spring or late spring or early summer. Doesn't really say. I feel like with cozy books, you definitely have to read them at the right time, in my opinion. So, but I'm excited. We have, oh gosh, the fourth one, or technically fifth, book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series by Carissa Broadbent. I'm on this book I'm not reading it at the moment, but this is the next one for me. The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, which is the one, I can't remember his name, but we follow Mish and Asar, yes. And I believe I have an arc of this one as well, so I do have it. I think it's also on Kindle Unlimited if you have a subscription there. I think the whole series is actually, but don't quote me on it. But this is like romantasy in a different world, and I can't even explain it because this is a sequel to another book, but they're technically also sequels to this other duology, so we're gonna be spoiling a little bit if I start trying to explain what the books are about. You should go read The Serpent and the Wings of Night though, if you haven't yet. You've probably heard that from other people if you haven't read it yet, and if you have, tell me if you loved it or if you didn't. Leave your opinion. But this is the fourth one in that series. I loved the other three, so I'm sure I'm gonna love this one as well. We'll see when I get to it though. I know there's 6 Scorched Roses as well that I'm kind of like glossing over a little bit. I just don't know where to fit it into the series. So that's why I'm glossing over it, but it does exist. I will recognize that it exists, okay, but yeah. And I needed this one because I have the other ones as well with the first edition edges. These are a little bit different though, which I know I'm not alone in thinking. Like, it's a little bit odd. Where does the pattern come in? I don't really know. The others had like a sword, there was an arrow and a snake as well, which makes sense. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. What's the red pattern here? What's it about? I don't really know. Then we have The Night of the Moth by Rachel Gillig, which I have read. I bought this while I was in Oslo and I read it basically. I started it when I came home. I loved it so much, okay? I loved it so much. So this is, I feel like it's romantasy, but you're allowed to not agree with me. That's okay, we can disagree on things. I love this so much. She writes gothic work. She can probably write other stuff, but both of her series so far have been like very gothic, dark in that way. Not necessarily dark like Alchemist, but a little bit like everything's just kind of gloomy. We have with this one to do with, oh gosh, how much can I say without spoiling anything and without, that's a lot of text on the back. I did not realize until now. The Queen of Gothic Romantasy. Yeah. A gothic mist-cloaked tale of a young prophetess who is forced on an impossible quest with the one knight whose future she cannot see. That actually sums it up pretty well. Yeah. And think like, she is a bit of a fighter. She is, she has a bit of an attitude as well, which I like. She doesn't have an attitude per se, but she's a bit like, she will say stop. If she doesn't like you, she will be like, I don't like you. Also, I love the guy. He was great. we do like him. I forgot his name. Is that just me? Like, do you guys also forget names very quickly when you've read a book and then you've started another book or maybe like a whole series and the names from the previous book just go like, they're just gone. Yeah, I think his name was like something with R. Roderick, it was. Nailed it. Not really. We can pretend. Anyway, loved it. So, I also bought The Devils by Joe Abercrombie while I was in Oslo, because this has a little bit of like, so he writes a lot of grimdark, which is like very grim and dark fantasy. This one, I will admit slightly that I might have been dragged along a little bit by the hype, but also I really want to get into, because I love games that don't have romance in them. I love just like fantasy games. Like, I don't need the romance. I don't know why I'm so romance focused when it comes to reading. It's kind of odd to me, and so I want to like expand the part of my collection that doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of romance in it, and I think these kind of books are a good way to go, not start, because I have read other but I think they're a good way to like expand on it as someone who also reads a lot of fantasy, so we don't start all over from like, you know what I mean, or maybe you don't. That's fine. Part 1, worst princes ever. I do find it pretty funny that Denmark is actually, because this takes place in Europe, which I also think is pretty great, but Denmark is not on the map, which we're not going to talk about. Yeah, just, where did we go? I don't know. Do we exist? I'm not sure. Am I real? Anyway, so, plague and famine stalk the land, monsters lurk in every shadow, and greedy princes care for nothing but their own ambitions. I think it's gonna be dark, and I think it's gonna fit some kind of mood that I have at some point, and I think it's gonna be fun getting into my first Joe Abercrombie book as well. I do own The Blade itself as well. Haven't gotten to it yet, but like I picked it up at a bookstore nearby, and I read the synopsis for it, and I thought it was so well set up with the characters that I was like, yes, I need to get this and tackle it at some point. So anyway, we're expanding a little bit outside of the comfort zone that I've built, which, by the way, I have a little bit more as well that does expand on that too. We'll get to that in a second. First though, I got the next stack of books. We're going to talk about some more fantasy. Cozy fantasy. This is by Sarah Beth Durst. I'm in the process of reading this, which is why this looks like this. But this is like cozy fantasy. A girl has to move away. Yeah, she's always had trouble dealing with people, but she has to move away because there's a war going on where she lived before, and so she moves to this shop that she owns. I can't remember why. It's something like passed down to her through her family, her childhood home. So she flees there, and then it's basically where she starts setting shop, the spell shop. And then we'll see how it goes, but cozy fantasy, can always find a mood for cozy fantasy. I did read, it's not bookshops, Legends and Lattes. I did read Legends and Lattes at some point, and that one wasn't for me. Controversial opinion, I know. That's fine. But then I've read other cozy fantasy and I've been like, yeah, this is nice. So I'm confident that it's not because I don't like cozy fantasy. What was I about to say? I'm confident that it's not because I don't like cozy fantasy. I think it's just I need to find my kind of cozy fantasy. And so we'll see if the rest of it is up my alley. But so far so good. We have more. I actually have 2 John Gwynne books. More high fantasy. We have Malice, which is this one. I bought this while in Amsterdam recently. I was about to say earlier this month, but that wasn't this month. It was September. School's been busy. Because I was talking to one of my classmates and she was like, I've heard that one is really good. And I'm like, okay, I'm short on time. I trust you. So that's why I ended up with this one. But I've also, to be fair, heard that a lot of people love this series. They all have like one word. Is there like a list of... Yeah, Malice, Valor, Ruin, Wrath. And I've heard that he's a very, very solid, good fantasy author. Oh, it's his debut? I didn't know. very excited to see. I know I have this other one which is also very, very hyped when it came out, very popular series. So I love the dragons. There's dragons in this too. There's dragons in this one as well. This has Norse mythology all over it because this is the worm. Why am I struggling to Jormungandr? It's the Midgard. What do you call it in English? Midgårdswoman. I don't know. There's a big wolf on the second one, and the third one has also something. It does look like the third one also has the big worm on the cover, but yeah, I gathered from looking at the covers that they were Norse inspired, and then it turns out that I was right. Anything Norse inspired, I'm like yes, because this is it's my land. It's not my land, but I am Norse. So I love to see other people's take on our history and our well, it's our history and a little bit culture, because culture is shaped by history. So I'm always like on the hunt for more Norse inspired books, because I feel like there's not a whole lot, to be honest. It's mostly Greek, which I get because it's a big mythology. Greek mythology is huge, but like Norse is so different from Greek and Roman. Okay, I'm totally not biased. But set in a brand new Norse-inspired world and packed with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance, The Shadow of the Gods begins an epic new fantasy saga from best-selling author John Gwynne. So I actually don't know much more about it other than Norse-inspired, I will say, but we'll see where it goes when I get to it. I'm super excited. I got my mom to bring me back these because, again, I want to get a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I also need some ladies in my collection. So Robin Hobb, I have heard, is amazing at building worlds, and I think a lot of her stuff is also, correct me if I'm wrong, and you are like a huge Robin Hobb fan and you know, but a lot of it all is also like intertwined in one way or another. I also know for myself that I'm much more likely to start a series if I have at least a sequel, so I got her to get both of them back from Norway. So I have Assassin's Apprentice and Royal Assassin. Are these the Farseer series? Is this, yeah, Farseer trilogy. See, I know. So, to my knowledge, we follow a guy, possibly he's a guy, he's a bastard to the crown prince in a kingdom that is about to break into war, and so he's not really popular because he's a bastard. So they kind of like have to bring him in and make him useful in one way or another to the crown prince, and so he ends up in an apprenticeship to become an assassin, so he can at least be useful in some way. And other than that, I don't really like, I've heard so many lovely things about Robin Hobb, read so many lovely things about Robin Hobb, and she seems like a lovely lady as well. So hoping to have a good time with these books. Then we have a third one in a series, Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. We have, this is after Jade City and Jade War. This follows like crime families in, is it a fictional place? I can't remember anymore. Because it doesn't feel like a fictional place. But we have crime families that are fighting over like Greenbone or Jade. Not Greenbone. It's called the Greenbone Saga. But they're fighting over Jade because it gives like magical properties and stuff. It gives you like strength and stuff. And at the start of Jade City, you kind of like get to this, like there's a build-up, a slow build-up of a conflict between these different sides in this conflict. And it's like it's a slow build-up. It's very, I remember, because I've read more than half of it actually. I'm not done with it yet, but it's very, there's a lot of like not foreboding. What's it called? Tension. Yeah, there's a lot of tension. And like you just know that at some point, I was about to use a term that youth is probably not gonna like, but something is about to hit the fan. Or a saying rather, not a term, but something's about to hit the fan, and you kind of like realize and feel it as you're reading the book. And so at some point it's just gonna all go to absolute chaos with these different sides, these different people and parties in this conflict. And I'm excited to see where she goes with the rest of the series when I pick it up again. I don't remember why I stopped, actually. Why do I sit like this all the time when I'm like talking about, like I can't sit still with the book. I'm like, I have to feel it in my hands. I don't know. Anyway, lastly, from this stack, I have Arcanum or Arcanum Unbounded by Brandon Sanderson, which I believe is, yes, a collection of shorter stories. Some of them are like, actually, there's a little bit of this going on, which is interesting. But it's an addition to the Cosmere universe, which is like his whole work is Cosmere. Well, almost. Or is it all of it? That's a good question. So this is basically like to add to it. I'm unsure of what stories actually is in it, but none of the ones that are like the ones that have been released on small hardbacks. I feel like stuff like this is nice if you just need like a little bit extra, but also don't want to pick up a whole book yet. It's nice to just have a collection of short stories or shorter stories that you can kind of like delve into one by one, not necessarily all at the same time. So yes, before we get into all of the contemporary romance, I just have two that don't really fit into fantasy per se, but that are still kind of fantasy, not necessarily like straight up contemporary romance. We have The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. So I think there's another one that I don't have yet, but I did read what is the blue one called? I have it somewhere. Or it's like green blue. For some reason cannot find it behind me. I'm pretty sure I have not sold it. Although it wouldn't surprise me if I did, because I tend to not keep my mysteries once I have read them, because I know the mystery and I won't forget what it is. Spells for Forgetting, which was a little bit of like a contemporary fantasy with romance and mystery, so I'm guessing this is somewhat in the same sort of vein as that one. Another small town story, and there's a disappearance. So I really, really enjoyed Spells for Forgetting, by the way, and so I'm very confident that I'm gonna enjoy her other adult books that she's done, this one being among them. And I bought it here for fall, so we'll see if I get to it before fall is over. Otherwise, I'm sure that it's going to be great for other seasons. I'm just a very seasonal reader when it comes to books that specifically feel very season based, like this. I don't know, there's something about a fantasy mystery that does give fall vibes. So we'll see about it though once we get to it. I actually kind of feel like picking it up now, but I'm in the middle of a series. Actually, I'm not in the middle of it. I'm almost done with it, so I should continue reading that and actually be done with it. This is very much, I think, I would guess it's a little bit leaning maybe magical realism, maybe, but like definitely romance, and then whether or not we want to call it like contemporary with a splash of fantasy or whatever we want to call it, something along those lines. So Ashley Poston has been writing a lot of those kinds. I think, as far as I have read from reviews, that some of them are a little bit hit and miss, but this one specifically seemed a little bit more like a hit. And so I did read up until like 85% of The Dead Romantics, and then I was just kind of, there's something about it that I didn't like anymore. So, but I'm willing to give her books another chance. Also to finish that one, actually, because I should probably get to it. But this one kind of feels like the title is self-explanatory, 7-Year Slip. We have a girl who's living in an apartment and she's just focused on, like, she's one track in her life, just stay busy. And then one day there's a dude in her apartment and he's like living there, but it turns out that he's from 7 years ago. So it's like there's two timelines doing their thing, moving along at the same time in her apartment. And I'm pretty sure she falls for this guy. And that's what this whole book is about. How is that gonna sort itself? So we'll see though. just read a lot of good reviews on this one, and it does seem like it would be something that I would like, so I'm willing to give it a shot. And then I need to go get another stack of books, so I'll be right back. I've collected a lot of sequels in this stack, so these will mainly be sequels. We have technically, because Mate I'm sure it can also be read on its own, but I would say it's a sequel to Bride. Ali Hazelwood. Do I know exactly what this is? No. But I love Ali Hazelwood. I loved Bride. I think we follow one of the girls from Bride in this one. And she's a bit of a special one. Is she the younger girl, maybe? Can't remember, but it says Serena. And I'm like kind of sure that it's her from the book. Or maybe she's not younger, maybe it's just her friend. Is it her friend? Yeah, it's probably her friend. So she's orphaned at Packless and one of a kind because she's a human were hybrid. And this is like, if it's anything like Bride, it's written a little bit like a contemporary romance, but think like romantasy still, because it's so heavy on the fantasy, but also the whole plot is the romance. I just really enjoyed Bride. I want to see Ali Hazelwood do something more with this universe that she's created, and I'm sure that this will be lovely. What was that? I feel like I just saw a signature. Not like her signature, but something. I'm just probably imagining things. So we'll see though. Mate. I have Accomplice to the Villain, which I'm pretty sure is the third book in that series. Yes, because we have Assistant, Apprentice, Accomplice, and then there's a fourth one. I thought that it was going to be a trilogy, but no. What has happened to my book? I have not noticed this. She's all wrinkly. What in the world? Can you see that? What? Oh, that is a shame. I genuinely had not noticed until now. That's so odd. She's all wobbly. What in the world? Like, she's bent as well. Do you see that? That is so weird. I'm gonna do my best to ignore it. It's fine. Not all your books have to look perfect. It's completely okay. But this is the third one in the series. I have read both of them. They're very easy to read, very easy to digest, so I can't remember if I've read both of them, but I'm pretty sure I also read Apprentice. Basically in the series, we follow a girl who has, she's out looking for a job because she was supposed to get one, and then she basically ended up like passing it for some older lady. And then when she's like leaving this place where she was supposed to get the job, or where she was offered the job, she runs into this very well-known villain in this kingdom that she lives in, and he's like, they have a little bit of a back and forth, and then he's like, I want to hire you. So she ends up working for him because, or not because, but also she is set on a task to find out who, there's a mole inside of his business, and she has to figure out who it is and stuff. And a whole lot of secrets about various things in regards to her, but also other stuff comes to light. Actually, now I'm not sure that I read the sequel. Why is it so bendy? What happened to this book? That is so odd. It will be fine to read. I'm okay. It's all okay, but this is the third one in that series. Romantasy, I want to call it. We have the sequel to Love Redesigned. This is Love Arranged. This is actually the third one. Which one am I missing? Love Unwritten as well. The first one in the series is Love Redesigned. I actually loved both Love Redesigned and Love Unwritten, so I'm very, very happy to have this. I'm very excited to get started with it at some point. Lorenzo is someone that you're introduced to at least in Love Unwritten. I'm pretty sure he has a little bit of an encounter with our lead girl in that one. Do I know who Lily is? No, not really. But we got a fake dating situation in this one. For what purpose, I'm not really sure, but I trust Lauren Asher to write Lauren Asher. It sounded like a question, but as soon as I started saying it, I was like, is her name Lauren Ashen? Lauren Asher. I trust her with the series. I trust that I'll be entertained and that I'll be loving every moment of it, so yep. B.K. Borison's Business Casual. Is this it's the third one, or is it the fourth one? Right, there's mixed signals in between. I'm supposed to be getting mixed signals before that sounded weird. I need the third book before I get started with this one. They seem to be seasons inspired, but then I got started in the weeds, and it has nothing to do with spring whatsoever. So now I'm confused. But like the covers look so seasons inspired. So this is supposed to be like, actually I'm not really sure because Mixed Signals looks more autumnal than this one, and Love Life Farms is definitely Christmas. So I don't really know anymore. But I trust her with the series as well. I loved both the first. Love Life Farms was like, Christmas books are very hit or miss with me as well, and I really like that one. I think I just generally like B.K. Vorsen, I found out. So I'm pretty confident that I'll love this one as well. I have Chloe Walsh releasing 10, which is a long book in her long series, Boys of Tommen. Cannot tell you what this one is about, but I got it. I pre-ordered it a while ago, if I recall. No, I brought this one home from Oslo, actually. It's the 6th book. These are chunky, but a friend of mine really, she's very picky with reading, and she's really been loving that series, so she's been trying to get me, she's been hounding me about starting the series, and I should probably actually get to it. So I'm preparing to love it, because if she's picky, I'm not picky. I will surely enjoy it. Then we have Caught Up, which is the sequel to Lights Out by Nessa Ellen. These are dark romance. I think there's a lot of humor in them. I've actually not read the first one yet, but for everyone ready to play. But everything I've heard about the book, I've been like, yeah, I will enjoy it. So I was pretty confident. I brought this home from Oslo as well. I was pretty, get on your knees and pray. My mom went with me to the bookstore. I love that she just, no questions asked. I'm a grown up, I can read what I want, but also she's like, she wouldn't judge in the slightest whatsoever. There was blood everywhere, soaked into my shirt, sprayed onto my pants, and buried beneath my blunted nail bits. See, I'm gonna enjoy this series so much. I'm very confident that I will. The Defender by Anna Huang. This one actually arrived today, so this is the sequel to The Striker. Anna Huang, I've read quite a bit of books by her in the past. I think I've gone a little bit, I haven't continued with the Kings of Sin yet after Greed, just because I really disliked the guy in Greed, so I haven't picked it up yet, but I have enjoyed everything else that she's written, which is why I'm also confident to get the sequel to The Striker, despite not having read The Striker yet. These are more sports romance, both this one and The Striker. The Striker, actually, if you have read, is it Ash or Donovan? Is he in both of the series? Is he both in Kings of Sin and Twisted? He's definitely in one of the series. I think he might be in both. So finally he got his own book. And now I don't know who she's writing about, but I'm excited to figure it out at some point. And then we have Wild Card by Elsie Silver. I have enjoyed the 3 previous books, so Wild Eyes, Wild Side, and Wild Love. I have to like look at my books sometimes. Yeah, I know. Who would have thought she has to look at her books? Anyway. This one is actually, there's a bit of a, yeah, he's also my ex-boyfriend's dad. I'm like, ooh, scandalous. What in the, okay, interesting, for sure, interesting. Sounds a bit like an age gap, unless there already was an age gap with the ex-boyfriend. I don't know. But like, if he treats you better, go for it. But I've enjoyed the 3 previous books so thoroughly. I am very confident that I'll love this one as well. It's the next one in the series. It's a contemporary romance. Yes, we do love our sequels. We do need them. This one, I think, was also pre-ordered a while ago. But with that stack out of the way, we're moving on to possibly the last stack, actually. We'll see. These are all of my contemporary darlings. They're all new. Like, well, all the books are new, but these are not from series that I own already. They're all, like, new. And a lot of them have been brought back by my mom from Norway, because they have much cheaper books than we do in Denmark. And don't discuss with me, Norwegians, it is true. Your books might seem expensive, but have you seen Danish prices? So I was in search for more autumn-inspired books, and I've seen a lot of people read this before. Kind of gotten a little bit of mixed reviews, but we'll see. As I said, I'm easily entertained. If it's cozy and cute and it'll make me smile a couple of times, I'm like, yeah, that was nice. So The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laura Gilmore. These covers as well have definitely made their rounds, and this actually was released recently as a special, or like with edges, not as a special edition. When genies, what is this? Is this, ugh, is that spider webbing on my books? What's happened? This is not happening. When Jeannie's aunt gifts her the beloved Pumpkin Spice Cafe in the small town of Dream Harbor, Jeannie jumps at the chance for a fresh start away from her very dull desk job. Seems a bit like a Hallmark Christmas movie, but make it an autumnal contemporary romance book. Am I hitting the nail on the head with that one? I feel like I am. Then we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have loved Book Lovers, Beach Read. I've loved her Book Lovers and Beach Read. Read those before, so I have this as a special edition from Afterlight as well, but like I've mentioned, I prefer not reading my special editions. They're more like for display purposes and also just because they make me happy. And so I needed a copy, an edition that I could read. And for contemporary romances, I definitely prefer reading them as in physical format. So I now have this one so that I can get started with it. But it says, Daphne always loved the way Peter told their story. That is, until it became the prologue to his actual love story with his childhood bestie, Petra. And I'm like, ooh, that's drama. I also surprised. I love drama in my books. It's so entertaining. I got this while I was in Amsterdam. I was kind of just like on the hunt for something that I didn't necessarily know a whole lot about, that I hadn't seen like everywhere, and this was new. So Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. Rena Kent I have read some of before, and scandalous. So dark romance, we'll see. Like I don't own a whole lot of dark romance, so it's a bit new to, it's not new to me. I've read dark romance before, but like owning it and having it displayed on my shelves, I'm like, am I a grown up now? No, I'm kidding. But this is about a girl who has to figure out who has attacked her sister, and so she is how do you phrase this? My only lead is the Vipers, an elite college hockey team that rules the ice and the shadows beyond it. So, and there's a guy in one of those who's a bit like, a little bit too interested in her maybe, so. Beautiful Venom. I do like the cover quite a lot. I picked that up while I was there with some classmates, and like, I feel like you can tell a lot about people from the books that they look at and consider buying and stuff. So I was just like a little bit all over the place. And I stood there, I bought 3 books. One was Malice, then we had Beautiful Venom, and there's a third one. Actually, that might have been Funny Story. Yeah, the third one was Funny Story. So like 3 completely different books. Because I will not let you know, you will have to, I'm gonna ping pong you back and forth. You will never know. You will never know. This one my mom picked up for me at the airport in Oslo. Great and Precious Things by Rebecca Yarros. If you only know Rebecca Yarros from Fourth Wing, I'm actually myself surprised to know this about her books, but she writes a lot of military, or like contemporary romance that has something to do with military, with the military. So in this one we follow a guy, I think it's Camden, that's a guy's name, right? Anyway, who has been to war, and he came back without his younger brother because so he kind of left this small town that he was living in, and then he also left basically the love of his life behind because things weren't going well with his family after he came back without his brother. But now he's gotten a letter and he has to return to the small town, and things are not great. And so it's a little bit like, I'm guessing it's about how him and the love of his life, who he just thought would be waiting there back at home for him, how they're gonna like figure these things out together, and also something to do with his dad. Not read the book. I always feel like summarizing books I've not read is a little bit difficult, but I'm doing my best. We have Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer, which my mom also brought back from no, actually this one and this one, these were from where she works in Norway. Because it turns out the bookstore close to the hospital she works at has a lot of contemporary romance. So she was like, I'm gonna bring you back 2 books from there. So she brought me back this one. He's the hot, grumpy goalie I had a crush on in high school, and now I'm his live-in assistant. Beneath his surliness, though, Jamie's surprisingly sweet and protective. He could break my heart, but maybe I'm willing to take that chance. This kind of like, who has had this open? Not me, that's for sure. This has also made its rounds on social media. I feel I love a good sports romance, a contemporary sports romance, so I'm sure that I'll like it, but we'll see. It also depends a little bit on prose and stuff, I guess. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. We have a couple of Lucy Score books, actually. So I have Mr. Fixer-Upper and Story of My Life. This one I bought myself in Oslo. It kind of reminds me a little bit of another, and I remember thinking that as well when I read the synopsis, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of Maggie Moves On, because it has to do with home renovation and a reality show this time, I think, instead of... It's a battle on set between sexy home renovation reality star Gannon and his no-nonsense producer. The other one was about a YouTube home renovation star who fell for one of the people working on the home. I think this one is about the reality star and then the no-nonsense producer, Paige. But like, they're a little bit similar. There's a sequel to this one that is a Christmas book. If I recall correctly. I have a lot of books, so I might be mixing them up a little bit. But The Christmas Fix, I'm pretty sure that's a sequel to this one. So I'm hoping to read this before, because I really want to read some Christmas books this year. I'm done with my exam on the 17th, so I'll have a whole week to hopefully have time to do some Christmas reading. So we'll see if I'll be able to do that. I know the other one is on KU. So, but anyway. Story of My Life, the all-new small-town rom-com from the Queen of Romance. There's a lot of queens of romance. I do love Lucy Score, though. I just want to say. But like, I call a lot of the ladies on my shelves queens. So I do find it funny. Hazel is the lead character's name. I'm like, But we have a small-town romance with a woman who has to move out of her apartment. She's an author, and it's not really going very well. So she decides to move to a small town where she's trying to get some inspiration for her next book, and apparently runs into this very grumpy animal rescuer, and there's a whole thing. So I'm guessing she's about to take some inspiration from her own life for her next story. Yeah, I'm guessing. Then we have The Wrong Bride by Katharina Mora. I think I have another one of her books somewhere on my shelves. Mine for the moment. This one was also brought back I brought this back from Oslo, so it's a while ago. So it's a little bit, I have to like refresh my mind on the summary sometimes when it's been like months since I bought the books and I haven't read them yet. She came with sprayed edges this time. She's his fiance's younger sister. He's the man she's always loved. A little bit dark, maybe a little bit, at least like a lot of heavy on the drama, but like not necessarily like nice drama, more like the like funny drama, more like the oh dang drama. The chapter art in this one is really, really pretty. It's very like flowery and stuff, so I like it. Goes very well with the cover. But about a girl who has to take her sister's place at the sister's wedding because she didn't show up, and so what's gonna happen? Hence The Wrong Bride. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I read Not the Summer Will Be Different, which I also have right here, but the one prior to this one, and I loved it so much. Every Summer After. Actually, is this... Because there is Meet Me at the Lake as well. Is this the third one? Is this a part of that series? Why am I asking you? I should be figuring this out. Anyway, I've heard so insanely many good things about One Golden Summer. Like, people loved it to bits. So I very quickly, thank you, asked my mom if she could bring it back to me. And then I got this myself while I wasn't, or maybe it's the other way around. These complement each other so well color-wise, by the way. Like, I'm like, it's very pleasant to look at. Her covers are always a bit like this like summery kind of mood, so I'm like, probably gonna wait with these until next summer, but still very happy to have them. But think like young romance, summer romance, small town, summer vacation romance, but also Every Summer After was also involving a friendship, so it might not just be like a quick summer fling, but also could be a little bit of a quick summer fling. But yeah, very like breezy, summery kind of contemporary romance books. And lastly, of the contemporary romance books, we have The Wedding People by Alison, whose last name I cannot pronounce. but it's about a wedding that's not really going the way that the bride had planned. So it's taken place at this, I think it's a hotel. Anyway, let's just say it's a hotel. And the hotel is booked out, but for some reason there is one guest at the hotel who's not a part of the wedding at all. But she's like dragged into it anyway, and she's really not supposed to be. So she's ruining the bride's plans. But these ladies end up becoming very good friends, and yes, this is supposed to be a lot of fun, I read. It's supposed to be very, very fun, so that's what I'm expecting from it. Not actually sure it's so heavy on the, like, if it's like a romance or if there's just romance in it. Unsure. I just read that it was very charming, very funny, and I really just, at the moment, just needed something like that. So we're trying to get a little bit outside of our comfort zone. So if it's fiction with romance, that would also be pretty cool. And then the last two that I have, Japanese fiction. Why did that sound so weird coming out of my mouth? Japanese fiction. Thank you. I have read this one already, The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. Arikawa? I'm not sure how to pronounce Japanese names. But this is about... Actually, the title is pretty self-explanatory, The Traveling Cat Chronicles. It's about an owner who's trying to find new owners for his cat. And you basically follow the story. It's kind of switching from the cat's point of view to these different people that he's trying to get to take ownership of the cat instead of him. And then you find out their stories and also how they know the owner, and it's very lovely, it's very sad, it's very touching, it's very funny as well. It's very, very well written. I really enjoyed it. The different perspectives as well. Also, reading a book from a cat's point of view was pretty funny. It's a very hilarious cat. So I read this. I started it on the way to Amsterdam. It's a very good road trip book. So if you're ever traveling, I would definitely consider bringing this along. Because they're traveling all the time in the book, so it just felt very fitting. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. And then the other one is What You Are Looking For is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama. It's another cat book. I'm unsure what this one is about actually, but I was reading some reviews and people seem to really enjoy this one. In Komachi's unique book recommendation, they will find just what they need to achieve their dreams. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, so Japanese fiction seemed like still seems like a good way to expand on the comfort zone a little bit. Also because it's a book about books, the book about a library, and there's a cat in it, so seems kind of cozy as well, you know? Library, what a nice sounding word. So comforting. I feel like I'm a student again. Library. Am I allowed to borrow books? I will always allow my friends to borrow books if they want to. Yes. But anyway, that was the book haul. I don't know how long this video is, and I'm nervous to edit it, so wish me good luck, even though by the time this video goes live, it'll already be edited. But wish me, proactively wish me good luck with the next video. Anyway, if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts on them down below. And it'll probably be a while before the next book haul, because I actually don't myself buy a whole lot of books in stores anymore. It was like when I went to Oslo, but also I mainly get my subscription now. I am going to London at the end of December though, so there may be a small haul going up sometime after that. Because definitely gonna be looking at some new books while over there, because they are a lot cheaper than they are in Denmark. So, but other than that, I think it'll be a little while. So maybe it's good that this one was so big, but yeah, definitely not something that happens very often. Let's not make this size of a book haul a common occurrence, because no. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I don't think I can fit in links to all of the books in the description box down below, so I hope you'll be able to look them up yourself if you're curious about more a bigger summary than the one I gave you. But other than that, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also all the other booktube stuff, definitely consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button. However, I'm gonna leave you to it, so I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.